What's up, everybody? I am Steve, and with me, as always, is D. And you're watching Conversations with Cabys, the only show on the internet that's never gonna give it away, but always down to suck that kiss.
Give it
You
away now.
and it's Red Hot Chili Peppers time, baby. All right, CP. And don't be confused with the right-handed circular polarization waves. Because if you try to look up Red Hot Chili Peppers, it will say that RHCP redirects you here. Go check for
Nice.
polarization waves. So you nerdy physics majors, maybe, or electromagnetic engineering majors, go there. Um, but this one's about one Red Hot Chili Peppers, a personal favorite of D's and mine. Um, this one goes pretty deep for myself. What about you, D? How you living? How's it going? What are we doing?
Oh, I'm great. I'm excited about this one. Hey, as you said, this is a long time fave of ours. It's a family favorite in my household, so it's nice that it spans many decades and multiple generations. Um, and chili peppers are awesome, man. Fucking, let's get down to it.
All right, so we're gonna do this one in album order, I think, but I wanted to do it in albums that are relevant. I think we're gonna do that since we are so versed in this one. We're gonna do this from excuse me, the time that we're kind of influencing the band to now, which is early, which is basically also concurrent to when the current members of the band started in the band.
Indeed.
Because I started listening to them in the big single off of their third album. So we will gloss over the first two albums and then pick it up. So let's get to it. The
Please
first
do.
one is self-titled. The first one is self-titled. I've never heard it, um, and it has one maybe three singles on it, but one that looks like it was original single released in August 10th, '84. We're talking a deep cut here. '84. Band was formed in '83. So, um, but
2 years before me.
2 years before you. It always had Anthony Kiedis and Flea in it. Those are the founding members of the band, basically. Um, but there again, one single off the first album, no real singles off the second album. I will note though, the second album was produced by none other than George Clinton, the funk like virtuoso George Clinton that's wrote a zillion folk songs or funk songs, not folk songs. Totally different genre. Um, a ton and very popular. Everybody digs on George Clinton, who likes that funk genre. Dude still tours. He's um, cray cray party animal, I would say. Nothing of note really on here though. I don't know anything off it. There's a Dr. Seuss track on here. And there's a cover of a Sly and the Family soundtrack on here, which is cool. I dig on that. But really, the third album, the Uplift Mofo Party Plan, which basically introduces the current members Anthony Kiedis, Flea, Chad Smith on drums, and John Frusciante.
I think it's Frusciante.
Frusciante. See, I fuck it up every time. Very, very Italian. Frusciante.
So
Um,
actually, this album uh, had a guy named Jack Sherman as a guitarist.
Technically, it was. Well, Jack Sherman was in the band from '83 to '84. Technically, the guitar was probably written by Flea for everything here. I can pretty much tell you. Yeah, I mean it's who's Slavic? Is there a Slavic? Highland Slavic. Yeah, so 84 to 88. Yeah, uh, Hillel Slavic, who died in 88, was their guitar player for a
Originally, yeah.
while originally, and he took a break, I guess, a hiatus right at the beginning, I guess when they first started touring, and Jack Sherman picked him up, and then 84 to 88 is when he was on there. But I'm more or less talking in the touring sense. Uh, uh, Frusciante was there, like in started touring in '88, basically with them, and so he would have toured with the Uplift Mofo Party Plan. That the third album is
Right.
more of a,
Okay.
but it this is like written. The songs were written with Hillel Slovak. Let's just call him Slovak because I don't know how you pronounce that first name. It's a lot of L's.
Right.
Um, uh, he wrote them. He wrote the guitar part for it. Slovak did. So that's a fair credit. But as far as touring goes, and the group mentality, this is when this album he knew all these songs and he played all these songs live with them. And Fight Like the Brave was a song off of that one. That first track I ever heard. I remember watching the video for it, I think. It also could have been the Beavis and Butthead episode that I watched the video on too. But I knew I heard the song when it came out. But I believe it probably was when I saw the video was Beavis and Butthead because we were poor, so we didn't have MTV until Beavis and Butthead era in like 94 or whatever, 93, 94. But yeah, Fight Like a Brave is a really, really good song. I dig it off of this one. But ultimately, and you haven't heard anything off of Mother's Milk either, right?
I take that back. I have. I looked at
Higher
the song.
Ground. I mean, Higher Ground. You've heard the Stevie Wonder cover of Higher Ground for sure. That's been on the radio a ton.
Yeah.
And Knock Me Down is a pretty good song. That was a radio hit. I enjoyed that one. Higher Ground was played a ton.
And I don't know why, but I'm pretty sure I've heard their cover of "Castles Made of Sand," their bonus track.
That was 2003 remastered. So it probably yeah. I mean, and we could have searched YouTube and found that guy.
That's probably where I'm thinking I've seen it.
But Mother's Milk was an album I remember having, like, and having meaning it was in the house because my brothers bought it. So, this was in the house. I remembered this album, and it came out in '89. Again, Higher Ground, Knock Me Down. Those are really good tracks. But again, the band is coming into its own. It's still trying to formulate. This is the first album with like the current framework, the solid framework of a band, which, again, I dig.
There's a fun fact here.
Yeah.
So the album Uplift Mofo Party Plan.
Mm-hmm.
There is EMI, which was the record company that was originally working with the Chili Peppers at that time. They refused to release the album unless the Chili Peppers changed the name of the song "Party on Your Pussy." The band subsequently had to rename the song to "Special Secret Song Inside."
Hey, you know what? Oh, I like this. The censored title censored on original release listing a special secret song inside. That's awesome. Very cool. That's a fun little fact. But again, I remember Mother's Milk, a couple great songs. But again, this is the band. It's the fourth album, but it's truly the first album with them as a whole contiguous unit. They found themselves. This is the unit we're driving forward with. And it was a good effort for that. Good first album. But the second album, or the fifth album, but second album with this core unit, Blood Sugar Sex Magic, came out in '91. I remember this album as well. I had this one on tape. I remember every song pretty much on this album. some standouts. The riff to Under the Bridge is an amazing riff. The song Blood Sugar Sex Magic, the title track of this song, is one of the coolest riffs. If you thought Under the Bridge was an amazing fucking riff, the riff to Blood Sugar Sex Magic is fucking awesome. It's creepy. I think it's in minor, which makes it even weirder. It's all just tonality of it is just a very weird tonality. Plus the riff is interesting. A riff you don't really hear that much. And obviously Give It Away, which is a great track. Everybody knows that one. Suck My Kiss. Everybody knows that one. But Breaking the Girl, that's a great track. I mean, fucking amazingly written track. Yeah.
One of the honorable mentions on this one too is you already called it on Blood Sugar Sex Magic, but also too I Could Have Lied. That's a really good track too.
Yeah. I mean, there's just so many everything on this track is on this album is great. And funnily enough, you've heard us talk about him before on this show. This album was produced by none other than Rick Rubin.
Mr. Rick Rubin, I saw that.
And well, of course it was, because this is a solid gold masterpiece, and Rick Rubin really only makes fucking solid gold masterpieces. If his name is attached to it, generally it's going to be fucking bomb. That's why you can get excited anytime you hear Rick Rubin's attached to anything rock related, because when he gets his hands on rock shit, it's fucking amazing. And then we have a departure from our, say it D. We have a departure of our guitar player, Mr. John
Frusciante.
This
is the first time he leaves.
This is the first time he leaves.
Which was not long after he joined. He was only around for like a year or two. Or it was 3 years.
It was 88 to 92, so 4 years total. It was 4.
4 years. Okay.
They wrote the Blood Sugar Sex Magic, and I would imagine probably some of One Hot Minute. One Hot Minute is an interesting song. Again, Rick Rubin produced this one. They took a break. Blood Sugar Sex Magic came out in 91. This one came out in 95. Obviously, they needed a break because they lost their guitar player.
Only album too, this next one we're going to talk about here, that has Dave Navarro.
Right, which is an amazing pickup that you get Dave Navarro to actually come in to help you write guitar parts to your album as well as tour it with you. That's pretty cool. Admittedly, he only toured for a short period of time. It was no, he was in the band for quite a long time, I guess. 93 to 98. Yeah, until Mr. John Frusciante came back. But anyway, One Hot Minute. I enjoyed this album as well. Rick Rubin again produced it. So again, as I said before, you can expect it to be great. Although commercially, it was not great. People didn't dig on it as much. It was kind of a darker album. I think Navarro's riffs bring out a certain sense of the macabre in this particular hand. In Jane's Addiction, Dave Navarro brings out the psychedelic aspect, right, of Perry Farrell. Whereas in this sense, I think, and in other Dave Navarro by himself in his band, right, when he does his solo work, I think he brings out a certain level of macabre and for lack of a better word, depressing tonality to his shit. And that's where I think some people were turned off with this, because this one is more of a minor album. You know what I mean? Everything's written in minor. Everything is that somber tone. Everything is, even Aeroplane, even Aeroplane, a poppy hook. But if you think about the key that's in, that bitch is in minor. It's a somber happy. It's a somber catchy. You know what I'm saying? And My Friends if you don't think that song is eerie and just somber, you're not listening to the same song I am. So it's just and I think that's part of what it was. But it also a fact of the times. This was '95. I mean, Kurt Cobain just died. Grunge is going through a crazy transformation at that point. It just went from ginormous to a really just a crazy transformation. Yeah, it's an interesting album. I also had this one on tape. I also loved everyone, and this one is interesting to me because I associate this album actually with a stint in just a stint of depression, basically, that I had as a teenager. So this album helped me through that a lot. Um, it's just an interesting album to me.
Dude, this is another, okay, so fun little tidbit about this album.
Uh-huh.
So the album was released in 95, in September of 95.
Mm-hmm.
When they were putting together the final parts of it, the video involved for making Warped. They were making the video for the song Warped.
Mm-hmm.
And it says the video involved Kiedis and Navarro kissing towards the end as a way of breaking up the monotony of cumbersome video recording. Thinking nothing of it, they continued to shoot and finish several days later. Warner Brothers, however, saw the video and instantly wanted it thrown away, considering it to be unmarketable and that the kiss would alienate a large portion of the band's fan base.
Wow.
The band came to the consensus to let the kiss remain on the final cut, prompting a backlash from the college segment of their audience who took offense to the action.
So
Kiedis says if
ahead.
they couldn't accept what we were doing, we didn't need them anymore.
Well, also, that was just a bunch of old dudes watching a video and having questionable erections. I don't understand why I have an erection right now and why I'm watching men kiss.
Yeah. I thought that was a little fun tidbit.
That is funny. Yeah. So anyway, this album got me through some depression as a teenager, and this one holds a special place in my heart. I always like this one, although I do agree probably Blood Sugar Sex Magic was a better album than this one. And then Mr. Frusciante comes back.
And then we have a great album again.
In 99, they take another 4-year break, and come back out in 99 with an album called Californication. So you love this album.
I do. It's good. I mean, it's different, and it is a little bit. I think they were trying too hard to be mainstream on this one.
Okay, sure, I'll go along with that a little bit. Yeah,
but I like the first half of this album. I'll put it that way. First half of the album, totally solid.
Yeah, I mean it's
all the hits.
That's my problem, I guess. Like, Scar Tissue was the most overplayed song in 99 and 2000. Like, that whole 99 to probably, because Outside, Other Side came out in winter. Yeah, January of 2000. See, I remember it. Scar Tissue was played more than any other song on the fucking face of the goddamn planet. Like, every other second, Scar Tissue was on. From May in 99 till January of 2000. And then Other Side was the next single. And that was played until that was played for like 4 years. Like, I swear to God, that was on so fucking much. Those two songs, to me, were overplayed. I liked them. I never really dug on Other Side. That song is not, to me, there's something jarring about that track. I don't know what. I really don't. I'm not sure what jars me with that. I think it's it is maybe too minor. Because again, this album is also in some ways minor.
All minor.
It's very.
This is a dark album too.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like that's this. It's still dark. We're still dark here, and the other side is almost too dark, and it just gets so old, tired. The song gets tired very quickly. Like it's a 4:15 track and could be 3 minutes.
It's a very black and white monotone kind of song. And that's
Californication is one of the best songs ever written. Probably. Like the amount of pop culture references and stigma and prejudice and nomenclature that are in Californication is pretty well second to none. The only people who do that better really is probably Bloodhound Gang. I don't know if we'll ever get a fucking. I can't say that you'll see a podcast on Bloodhound Gang because Bloodhound Gang is a hard one to do. We'd have to have like an NC-17 podcast for me to talk about Bloodhound Gang.
Every other word is a curse word or a reference to a body part.
Let's just say Bloodhound Gang. Their first album, they had a song about going down on a chick. And then the second album, it was a song about blowjobs. A whole song. They're wonderful. They're wonderful. Lyrical genius, really. But I digress. Road Trippin'. The last track on this album is an amazing track, an underrated gem, in my opinion.
Agreed.
And Around the World and Parallel Universe are great. Scar Tissue and Other Side, I cannot listen to anymore. I just can't. They were overplayed so much. It's almost like Smells Like Teen Spirit at this point with me.
Thank you for saying it because I didn't want to, but yes, that's the way it is for me too.
Both of these tracks, Scar Tissue and Other Side, are Smells Like Teen Spirit to me, and I can't. And I appreciate the fuck out of them. Smells Like Teen Spirit is the pinnacle grunge song. There is a reason why it is. I get it. I cannot listen to it anymore. I've listened to it for millions of times.
Yes. All I can listen to out of that song is the initial
yeah, Dave Grohl going ham, and then I'm done. Right, I'm like, that's all I needed. I got my pump. Now the song is just boring to me.
And I know the rest of the song.
Right.
Two note for note.
Right. I don't need you to sing it because it can go in my head already if I want to listen to it. And Scar Tissue and Other Side are the exact same way to me. Californication still is not old to me, although it is.
It did get played a lot. Too,
it get played a lot
to the extent.
Around the World is in Parallel Universe is great. Around the World is an amazing song, and they got away with some questionable lyrics in this one, especially the video for this. Like he three fingers an invisible chick in Around the World. Like Ketis three fingers an invisible chick licks shoves three fingers in his mouth, gets them wet. Goes to town in the video. Pretty impressive, actually, that the invisible thing that he's doing that to could do it. I mean, it's not to anything, but it's
still innuendo.
Right,
you know what he's
right. Again, Road Trippin', a magnificent gem off of this particular album. I do dig it, and I do understand why this one is like. Would you call this one their most popular album?
I don't know. I would have to say it'd be close between.
Let me see what it got. Did it go triple platinum? What did it go?
I'd say it would be hard to choose between this one and one of their more recent ones.
Okay. We'll come back to that. We'll circle back to that at the end so we can have a good representation of all of them. So let's move on to the next one. 2002. So 99 Californication came out, and again they singled the piss out of it, and they rode that thing till the wheels fell off. 2002 By the Way came out again. Guess who? Guess who? Mr. Rick Rubin.
That's right. And our favorite people, all of our favorite
All
people.
of our favorite people are here. This is a great one. I really, really, really love this album. Um, it's tough because Blood Sugar Sex Magic is really a great album, and One Hot Minute. It's a tough call to pick a favorite album by these guys. Wow, I'm just coming to this realization. It's a tough
It
call to
is.
pick a favorite album, but I
Here's
may.
here's here's the thing though. There's very few albums. I know you said One Hot Minute was a pretty much start to finish album for you,
Yeah,
but for me, I don't know if I have
a start to
my
finish
own
album by
start to
then.
finish album.
There are skippers on One Hot Minute. I'm not gonna lie to you. There are skippers on it. And I mean there's like an interlude song called P that's not really great. But it's one I had the tape of, and I very rarely fast forwarded through it. I will say they are a lot of again. I'll go along with this. They're a band that I think is forced to put out a lot of songs, or likes to put out a lot of songs, but they stack the front end of their album with really good tracks, and the back end is generally experiments and other stuff.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say filler, because this is a band that's been around long enough where wouldn't dare say filler. I would just say that experiments and other things that they wanted to do with this particular album, and they generally stack the front with fucking hits.
Yep.
And By the Way
I would
does
say
that.
it's a great one to start the whole album out. And for me, I think I could narrow down my favorite track on this album to number 2, Universally Speaking. I think that is my favorite track. That's hard to say too, because the Zephyr song is an amazing.
Zephyr song,
amazing
I mean, that was, Universally Speaking, is amazing. So my three favorite songs on this one are Universally Speaking, Can't Stop, and Zephyr Song. By the Way is a really, really good track, but I think By the Way is, again, just, I think By the Way maybe is I don't know. It just, again, is a kind of a depressing track, whereas these others are just better, in my opinion. And maybe By the Way was played out a little bit, maybe?
It was. It definitely was. I don't know if it was as much to the extent of like Scar Tissue and the other side, but
no.
For me, my top 3 are going to be Universally Speaking, the Zephyr Song, and I Could Die for You. I like that song a lot too.
I don't know if I've actually heard that one, I can't place it.
I bet you've heard it.
Yeah,
I bet you've heard it.
I can't place it. I can't. But there's just a lot of track here. There's a lot of songs in their catalog that.
Honorable mention on this one too is track 14, Minor Thing. That's also a really good song.
I'm trying to think of maybe it's not on this one. Maybe it's on Stadium Arcadium. Yeah, it's on Stadium Arcadium. Okay. So By the Way comes out, again, really good. 2002. The next album, Stadium Arcadium, is an 06 album, and it's our people, still our people. Again, Rick Rubin producing. This is a double release, 2 CD release. Jupiter and Mars are the album names. Disc 1 is Jupiter, disc 2 is Mars. Probably, I would say, if I was going to think, this album probably has the most songs I love on it out of any of their albums, but it also is 2 albums put together, so that's kind of a cheat,
Yeah. Oh man. So this one, there's a lot to talk about on this album, because first of all, you've got two discs worth of content, so immediately you've got twice as many songs to talk about. But you know, Danny California was such a humongous hit off of that first album, that first CD of the album, I should say. Humongous. I mean, that was a blockbuster. That was like their.
It was huge. That was the comeback, I think, from because I think By the Way probably didn't have as much commercial success as um, Californication, but Stadium Arcadium really kind of brought that back, in my opinion. I really do. Either that, or maybe just we could just say that they continued to ride that ride. But I don't think By the Way was this critically successful. And Danny California was the single that was like, oh shit, okay, they're back. Yep, this is we like. This is real good. And then Tell Me Baby was the next one after that. I mean, you just had so many singles off of this fucking thing. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so many singles, so many good songs too. I mean, Snow Heyo is probably in my top 5 all-time favorite Chili Pepper songs. And that's saying something, because it has nothing really to do with the lyrics, because the lyrics are kind of whatever in this song, but musically,
the melody of this song is pretty amazing, though. Musically, this is Flea and Kiedis at their best, in my opinion. This is these two together making a really good song. Hey Oh Snow is great. That's a really good song. I Humped a Bump. That is a Flea track from through and through. And
which reminds me of OG. Like, you could have told me that was off of Mother's Milk, and I would have totally believed you.
Agreed. You would, yes, agree 100%. But they come out because they know who they are. They knew who they were when they were doing the questionable shit, and we were watching fucking, what was that? Behind the Sun. That acid trip of a song on Behind the Sun. They knew who they were then. Like, that's what's amazing about this. These guys, Flea and Kiedis know who they are, and know what their lane is, and know how they want to make music, and they don't give a fuck, and it's pretty cool. Hey, the song Hey is a good track, a really good track. And I don't know why that's not a single. I thought that was a single, but to me was a great track. I like Charlie. That was a good one. I like Stadium Arcadium, because I had this track, or I bought this album. This may have been. No, I just had it. I just had a CD of it. Yeah, I just had a CD of it.
I'm surprised they don't list that as a single either, because I remember that getting a lot of radio play.
Which one?
Stadium Arcadium.
I know. I agree too. Stadium Arcadium was a great track. I enjoyed that one. Ready Made I enjoyed.
And Ready Made, that's a throwback track for me too. That feels like that could have been like old school punk inspired.
Ready Made is off of Mother's Milk. Like, that is, to me, that's like Fight Like the Brave for sure. Or even okay, so if Hump the Bump is off of Mother's Milk, then Ready Made is off Flip Mofo Party Plan. Like,
there you go. Okay, there
for sure. Like, I agree with that 100%.
But I gotta put special mention out to track 3 off the Mars CD on this album. That's Hard to Concentrate.
Hard to Concentrate is a great track.
That's a special song. But for me and my wife, we actually that was one of our songs at our wedding. That's if you listen to the words of that song, it really fits in well for like a wedding type environment, or expressing your love in a very profound way to someone else. Like, it's very meaningful, very concise lyrics, but in that Kiedis fashion that is very abstract.
Right. The poetic way that Kiedis does shit. For real.
Yeah.
I agree. And after that we had so after that album we had another departure from our guitar player. And we got basically the one that essentially replaced him, Josh Klinghoffer. A young kid. Seeing this dude for the first time playing with him, the kid has chops, though. He can play like a motherfucker.
He was like 22, and the rest of these dudes are in their 40s?
Yeah, he was young. um, but very good. And so again, with a new guitar player, we have a little bit of a hiatus, a little bit of a break. Stadium Arcadium came out in '06, and I'm with you. The next album came out in 2011. One, two, three,
Yep.
four,
Yep.
6, 7, 8, 9. Their 10th album. I'm with you. And this one, what do you think of this one, D?
This one, let me just look at the track list real quick. This one is
Monarch of Roses and The
yeah,
Adventure of
okay.
Randance Maggie. I mean, really, The Adventure of Randance Maggie is a masterpiece of a song, in my opinion. Extremely well written.
Yeah. Well,
And
that
so
one's
is
great.
Monarchy of Roses.
Monarchy of Roses is, it's all
It's a
right. I
it's
wasn't.
a it's a really well written song. Like they tried to make a this was a song that was supposed to be modeled after songs of this type, and for the model they were trying to like mold after, they did a good job in my opinion. Like this song
Sure.
is good.
It's just, it's not my bag. It's not
Right, I
my
get not digging
first
on that
taste.
type of song, but it's because it's more of
I
like
can
an
appreciate
'80s
it.
power ballad. Like
Yeah,
really,
there you go.
this is an '80s power ballad. Like this, and even the name Monarchy of Roses. This could be an '80s fucking power ballad song. Um, but it is. I get not digging on that track, that kind of a track, but I respect it for what it is, and it's a good track in that vein. But the best track on here, what's the best track on here, D? Throw it out.
Look Around, number 6. Look Around is, that's another dance track. Like that's a song, you put that song on in the fucking, in the bar, in the dance club. Like this gets people up and shaking their ass. Like this is a good upbeat song.
Yeah, a great track, a really strong track. And again, we're talking about a band that is restructuring itself with a brand new kid of a. I mean, not he's not green by any stretch. He's got chops, but it's forming essentially a new band at this point, or at least a new guitar player, who has to fill a pretty big fucking shoes, as far as I'm concerned.
Fucking A. Huge shoes in my opinion.
I mean, it's the riffs that John comes up with are pretty fucking amazing. Like it just is stupid. If you can play to Flea, who is probably, I mean, can anybody really argue that he's the best bass player in all of rock music? I mean, can you really argue that? Can at this point?
I mean, I
Really?
can name other, equally as talented bass players, but I can't tell you anybody who's
Getty's great. I mean, sure. If we're gonna talk Rush, sure. Getty Lee's good, but
I'm not talking anybody. There's nobody that beats Flea in my opinion.
he's fucking sick. He can play everything too. He's classically trained. I mean, he can play everything, and it's just a privilege to watch them work at this point. Anyway, so I'm with you. Again, it's an album that is this transition album where they're trying to find themselves, and
Yep.
and I think
They put a
that
lot.
probably took. Go ahead, go ahead.
I would say they put a lot into marketing and a lot into the touring and a lot into the publication of this album release. And I think in a way it was kind of a failure because it wasn't as blockbuster
The
of
marketing
an
didn't
album
meet
release.
the marketing didn't meet up to the product in that sense, because I remember this album. They did a like a pop up roof concert in Cali somewhere, on the beach somewhere, Pasadena somewhere, some on the beach somewhere, off of PCH, um, and did a pop up on the roof. Did a concert. I remember that for this. I remember the European tours, probably in Malibu. I guess probably on top of the Shangri-La studio. I'd imagine it was one Malibu, California. Anyway, yeah. So the hype was big, but I think trying to find their own, and I think also the kind of the lackluster critical acclaim to that first one is the reason why it took 5 years to come out with the next one, their latest one, The Getaway. Um, there's this again is more of an experimental album.
Hmm.
with everything that they're with this guitar, with the guitar player, with kind of with everybody really. You have the very popular radio hit "Dark Necessities." Um, I personally thought "Go Robot" probably was the better track off of here,
Hmm.
um, the better single. Those were the real big singles.
Sick Love, though, however, that is a dope track, and that has special credits from Elton John.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's a great song. I like that one a lot. Um, I don't know, man. It's a toss up as far as favorite track off of this album. It's close between Go Robot and Dark Necessities. I like both of them a
Oh,
lot.
it's Elton and his writing partner. That's crazy. Which I'm sorry, which one?
Dark Necessities and Go Robot. It's a tough toss up between those two.
I think Go Robot's the better track, but Dark Necessities is good. Don't get me wrong, but I think Go Robot's the better track, and I didn't mind the Getaway. That the title track off of this album was actually pretty darn good.
Yep.
This feels like a Blade Runner 2049 album. This feels like an album, a futuristic album, an experimental album that they were trying to that would go really well with like one of those futuristic type of movies. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Again, Danger Mouse produced this one with them, so they went away from Rick Rubin. The so I wonder if now having John back on guitar will that bring Rick Rubin back? I would think probably.
I don't
Um,
know.
Either that or they go a whole different way.
Man, but Ruben did 25 years and six different albums.
Mm-hmm. And
That's a long career with
the
them.
best albums in my opinion.
And Frusciante's back, so there is talk, right? There's new talk, new info,
Well, I mean the
new
new
information.
with yeah, with the last album coming out in 2016, we're now here in 2020. Um, Josh Klinghoffer is out, and in his words, as far as his speaking out about it, he says the only thing I could think to say was I wish I could have done something with you guys musically or creatively that would have made this an absolute impossibility. A true professional, and just kind of upset. I wish I was good enough to where you didn't have to, make that decision. But clearly they didn't mesh that well, and it's an age thing. Of course, it's going to be an age thing. Let's not beat around the bush about it. They're just in different parts of their. It's just an age thing, and also, you're gonna go back with a guitar player you've had this rapport with over these many albums. You are.
And 20 plus
Yeah.
years of knowing each other and working with each other and experiences together and knowing your guys' grooves and what you works and what doesn't. And I'm excited. If so, there's talk, with him coming back, there's talk of new, getting in the studio again.
Yeah. They basically in 2019. Right at the end, the Red Hot Chili Peppers announced the departure of Josh Klinghoffer. Josh, the what we just discussed, and with great excitement and full hearts, the return of Frusciante. Uh, Chad Smith talked at a promotion. Basically, I was given a strict order for this interview: do not talk about the band. Uh, he was telling Rolling Stone, but yes, John is back in the band, and everyone knows that. We're psyched. The festival's are only shows booked for now, but we'll mostly be concentrating on new songs and writing a new record. We're all really excited to make new music, and I mean that's really what we're real the fact that we're really excited to make new music is awesome. And
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 as are we.
as are we, and what we talked about in Stadium Arcadium, the fact that you can make Ready Made and Hump to Bump, two tracks that remind us of albums from 20 goddamn years ago. Let's go. Let's do
Yeah.
this. I mean, let's go. make whatever the hell you want because it's going to be awesome if when you have that kind of versatility. You know what I mean?
Yep. You can say whatever you want about some of Kiedis's lyrics. You know, some of them don't always make sense. Some of them are hard to understand. Whatever. There's not many songs like that, but there are a couple.
You can
But
also say what you will about his range as well. Um, Admittedly, he doesn't have the greatest range in all of everything, um, but he doesn't need to. He's more
that's his style. He's
that is his,
created a style.
he's also more of a poet than a poet and lyricist more than a vocalist. And there is a difference in rock music. There is a difference. Whereas Chris Cornell is a poet vocalist, Anthony Kiedis is more of a lyricist poet versus a vocalist. He just doesn't
and an entertainer. He's an entertainer as well. Anthony Kiedis is fucking entertaining.
He's just having fucking fun. I mean, he is entertaining to watch, but that is happenstance. He would do that even if you hated it, because
or if nobody was there to watch him.
He was. This is just what he does, and that's why you like watching it. That's what makes it special, is because he's just fucking feeling the music. That guy feels the music.
And Flea is the same goddamn way. That dude will fucking rock harder. He will play the fattest bass riff with the most complexity and rock his face off. He'll do fucking cartwheels while he's rocking those fat riffs.
And it's
now, they're in their 50s now, so maybe they're not doing so many, backflips and cartwheels, but still, they will get up there and have more energy than anybody out there today. They're fucking killing it.
I'm excited for the new music to come. I'm excited for touring. I'm excited to see what this spark does. Because I don't think they're going to go away anytime soon. I think they're here for probably another 10 years.
Yeah, we looked at tickets, by the way. They are swinging through town later this year.
Mm-hmm.
Tickets start at like $300.
Nice. But who's it with?
I think it's just them. Them and one opener.
Okay. Wow. Okay, that's cray. Yep. We'd have to go somewhere really cool to spend that kind of money on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so that's that. We're stoked about the new music and look forward to hearing them. And like I said, I think they're gonna be around for about 10 more years. So maybe 2-3 more albums if we're lucky. So let's hope for that.
As long as everybody's mature and they can all get along, and I think the drugs are under control finally. I think all of them have their habits and their addictions.
Right. And that's really what all the breakups were about, and all the departures and things. It's just drug use, but that's when drugs are. It's a hard thing when the wounds are that open. You need something to cover it, and sometimes the only band-aid you got is a drug for some of these people. So it's rough. This is a good one.
Definitely don't condone it or support it, but that's just life sometimes.
Yeah, it is. That's this one. Dig on it. Excited for the new stuff. Hope you guys like it. If you do, subscribe, send us a comment, give us your favorite Red Hot Chili Peppers track in the comments. We're going to put about 5 of our favorites in the description. We're not going to go too deep on this one. Don't want to overload you with the links.
We'll share our top 5 favorites with you.
Right on, top 5. If Wednesday, not sure what we're doing Wednesday. I'm not sure. We may get in some tech or just do another video game one. I'm not really sure what's going on this Wednesday. But I think next Sunday, a week from today, you can look forward to a kind of a collaboration or a collage or a showcasing of powerful female vocalists. We're gonna knock that baby out. The 1970s, What the Decade stirred me up and wanted me to hit on this one.
Yeah, we started talking, I think, after that show about various different female artists, and we're like, dude, there's a lot of. I mean, obviously, it's maybe not our total our bag of what we are regularly into, but there are a lot of female artists out there who are worth an honorable mention and highlighting and talking about some of their work. So I think that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, so that'll be next one. So I dig on that. Look out for that one. Again, like it, subscribe it, watch it, do all the stuffs. Yeah, until next one. We love you guys. Take care of
Much
each other.
love.
Deuces.